Submitted for your approval. The Midnight Society. Whatever. I feel like this looks really creepy. I feel like, ooh, this is gonna look like a mystical. Oh yeah. Mystical, low exposure cinematic experience. Not really. Well, this is me testing out the whole. Let's see about this. Is that good? No, testing out the whole lighting situation for me filming my YouTube. Will this do? Is this creepy? Nog chop cone. Have some. It's for you. This one's for you. Welcome back to my channel. Literally. I know people just say that because you're making fun of YouTubers, but like literally, welcome back to my channel. I have not made a video or posted it on this page. Let me get the crinkling out of the way. Oh wait. ASMR. I've not made a video or posted it on here since 2016. And the last video was me doing goat yoga. And one of those goats like stuck his hoof in my butt like a couple inches. And that's the highlight of that one if you want to go back and watch it. And the one previous to that was me sharing my journey and experience with weight loss surgery after I lost at that point like 75 pounds. So, hold on. So I think it's kind of like an odd foreshadowing that even back then I wasn't talking about hair, because if you're still here after, I don't even know how long it's been since I started this channel back in the days. I want to say like 2012. It was me posting tutorials and hair, like strictly hair. And I mean, even my latest videos, like which were 6 years ago, I was already moving into the space of talking more about my life. So I think that's just like a foreshadowing. If you're new here, and this is just like a blanket reintroduction / to new folks, I'm Rebecca Taylor, and I'm finding it really difficult to know where to look with my phone, camera 1, camera 2, on landscape mode. But you know, after you move out of the space of Instagram and everything's vertical and you switch to horizontal, there's going to be a learning curve. So much has happened and changed since I, tried to be present on YouTube. I definitely wasn't consistent. I was not consistent. I would not consider myself. I've never been a YouTuber. I was a person that put shit occasionally on YouTube. I'm not going to try now in my mid 40s to be a YouTuber, but I'm going to try to use this platform more. Because if I'm being completely honest, Instagram is sometimes exhausting. And I like to yap more than what is supported on that platform. This Nog Chump is gonna kill us all. Not really, that's dramatic. Like, I just feel like there's so many rules on Instagram. Rules of engagement, quite literally. And I feel like I want to use this platform to evolve into what's next for me. And just to, let's see if I can get all this out. I just inhaled a bunch of Nog Chumpa. Okay, for real. No. Okay, so I'm gonna get this out in the Cliff Notes version as you get ready with me. Do I still look chaotic, like where I'm looking? What if I just look always at myself? That's pretty, I know I'm not looking at you, but it makes more sense for me to, you know what? Okay, I think I got this. Do I? Yeah, okay. Working out some bugs in real time. If you know me, you know by now, I am slightly feral. And I don't have too much internal dialogue. And I do things very, like I'm doing them now, okay? And I'm not gonna feel bad about it. All right, just to give you a brief synopsis. I am a retired hairstylist. Is that where I should start? I feel like that's just ripping the Band-Aid off. I've retired this year after 22 years. I built my career. I built savings. I built financial security. I built some unhealthy external self-worth markers in my personality and my traits. I am having an ego death. I've loved this career for a very long time. And the last couple years, the passion just wasn't there. And I've wrestled with this. I feel like I don't even know what an ego death is if it isn't what I've recently experienced. So much of my everything was that I'm a hairstylist, that I built this reputation, like my lifeline to security was the money I made doing hair, working with brands, education, all of it. I feel like that part of me needed to be done with because of my passion. I'm not going to force something. That's just the way I am. I don't want to force something that isn't. I'm not going to try to keep making fetch happen. The more I was doing hair and the more I was teaching and the more I was like still working with the brands, I was making fetch happen. It did not feel good. There's so much to tell. You know why? You know why I need a YouTube? Because of this here. There is so much to tell. But I will tell you one thing about me wanting to shift and evolve into this new version of myself. It feels so true. It feels so right. It feels so necessary. It feels sometimes very messy and scary because that old part of my identity and like my self image, I guess, just is like trying to hang on. It's like, no, you're not done with me yet. Like, are you making a dumb decision? Are you like shitting on all the things you've built and all the people you've connected with and the community you've been a part of? And it's like all these like in my head being like, no, this chapter is still hanging on. And you know, definitely a lot of imposter syndrome, being like, who do you think you are to evolve? Like, play it safe. All the things that I actually coach other people on. I've tried to figure out what to call myself. Just a blanket statement coach feels very like, well, who are you serving and what do you do? I've lately liked empowerment coach because I feel like I'm gonna fucking die over this, not champa. I feel like I'm so fucking distracted. I'm gonna shit my dress because it's stressing me out. Hold please. Test. So goddamn irritated. I made it halfway through the initial video, and God, I felt like I was on a really good one. And I went back to make sure everything was all right, and it didn't record the audio. So hey, guess what? If you just saw, it didn't record the audio again. And I'm really trying to collect myself, because what I said in the last video that you didn't hear was what I had said in the first video you didn't hear because the audio got cut off, is that these are normally the moments when you're trying to create something, when they don't go as planned or they frustrate you, that you just say, fuck this and fuck that and fuck YouTube and fuck the internet and fuck my big ideas. Why would you ever think you could do this anyway? But I'm woo-sawing my way through it. I'm not spiraling. I feel like maybe this was meant to be, so I can talk to y'all through my process of how many times this has happened. Technology can be and is sometimes very frustrating. Our own limitations can be and are very frustrating sometimes. But you know what? Whatever I was yapping about in the very first video that the audio cut off on, I fucking know it because it came out of my consciousness and it's my experience in my life. So if I told you once before and it flowed and it was really awesome, I'll remember it again in some capacity. So I'm finishing this first goddamn video of my reemergence onto YouTube, regardless of audio cutting out, regardless of all of it. It's happening. This is kind of the mode I get in where I'm like, no, it's gonna get done. Oh, I teach people that, by the way. If you don't have that innately in yourself, you figure out some self-coaching modalities, because you're not always going to have a coach or a consultant. So you got to figure out how to be like self-motivated, and when things get really tricky or difficult or irritating, what things can you do to like trip yourself back into like, okay, all right, let me collect myself and get it going on again. Okay, so if I can remember, because I do want this video to be done into completion. I don't want to do fragmented, half-ass shit anymore when it comes to YouTube or just really anything else for that matter. I feel like now that I'm stepping into this new season of evolution, that it's go time. I was in the messy, unsure, very uncomfortable, not ready yet middle for a minute, and I'm not there anymore. And I said this on my Instagram, and I'm gonna say it here. That's just kind of how I am. I will like ruminate over some shit and suffer for longer than probably one needs to, but after I make the decision and it feels like a visceral, full body, like, all right, we know what we're doing now. That's my internal dialogue too. That's my consciousness to my other consciousness. We're like, all right, bitch, we're going. And so I'm going. Like right now is like go mode. So that's what's happening. This video is getting made. And so what I was talking about when the audio got cut off and you could see me talking about it but not hear me, was I had this thought the other day, and that thought was, man, you know, the more I let go of the outcome or expectations, the better off I am. Because when I look back, and this is so cool to have evidence of my path like this, and just, you know, how 100% of the time I made it through difficult times, it's cool to look back to have the validation of like, I'll put it this way. Did I have go to rehab on my 2020 bingo card and close my salon and feel like a bunch of shame because it was all done publicly? Absolutely not. I don't think when you're planning your year ahead goals, completely shit the bed in every single aspect of your life and do so on a very public stage. Yeah, no, I didn't think that was going to happen. But now that I've had years to go back and look, you know, in hindsight's 2020, I'm like, if it didn't turn out that way, or if that didn't happen, it would not be the catalyst for me to work on my inner world, like be able to sit. I have 5 years, by the way,
not to toot my own horn, but doodly doo. Seriously, I'm fucking so proud of this. I have 5 years of continuous, no mind altering shit sobriety. December 2nd will be 5 years. And had I not had that really very gnarly crash out in 2020, I wouldn't have been, I don't want to say forced, because I called myself. And internally I was kicking and screaming. I'm like, what are you doing? This is the worst case scenario. You're such a weak piece of shit. Like, why couldn't you figure this out yourself? That internally what was going on. But I did it. I called, I went, I did it. The 30-day treatment, the two, almost 3 years of AA. Like, I did all that. And had I not done all that, I don't think I would have had as much clarity to find out the human that I am and was meant to be, and work on my shit, and to go back and do really gnarly, like EMDR type healing and therapeutic modalities, to work on my shit, to get over resentments and being the victim and what have you, to move into the space that I am now, and to like study the shit like my life depends on it, because it does. And because I take it so seriously, and because I have experienced such a profound change in just the person I was then and the person I am now, and unlearning things and relearning things and reprogramming and getting rid of shit that doesn't serve me. Boy, fucking howdy, do I want to do it. And I have been doing this for a living. Like, I know the shift it's made in me, and I'm like, I want to facilitate that for other people. And I think I'm going to end on this, and I hope to God this was recorded. I know I don't have my mic on, but I'm like, I can't fucking be bothered to keep having technology ruin this message trying to come through. I think I'll end with the fact that why I've transitioned and why I've retired. There's a lot of reasons, and we'll get into that with videos down the road. Even the next one, I'm going to tell you about my experience of putting my down on a house in Thailand, or not even land, and that initial money to build a house, and it's almost done. And I have a video of that moment. I'm like, am I fucking crazy? Am I a head case? Anyway, but I will end this video on this. The reason why being a hairstylist and just focusing on the external wasn't true for me anymore is because of the profound internal work that I've done, and how the external became not as important. Like, I do think it's important to feel good, and that does come from a lot of external things. Like, I just put lashes on. I like that my hair is fresh. My dress is cool. I like dopamine dressing. But there's a huge element to that not, you can get all the fucking plastic surgery in the world. You can get your shit filled to where it's a catcher's mitt and still be miserable on the inside. You could have dopest $4,000 hair. I'll do a wink thing. 4K hair out there and still be unhappy on the inside. There's no amount of external that can fix internal stuff that needs to be worked on. So that's what became very true for me. That is what I'm passionate about, just as much as I was passionate about hair at the beginning. That's why and how I'm passionate about the things I'm passionate about now. So this transition, this shift, evolution, this public evolution, this using these platforms that used to be for one thing and now are for this thing, it's very true for me. So your expectations when it comes to what you'll see from me on this platform are going to be what's evolving in real time. That's why it's called Rebecca Taylor Now. What is happening in this video? Now. The next video? Now. Very much, hey, what do you know? I just got a trio of like Alan Watts books. I'm a fucking nerd for like consciousness books and meditation and just learning. I'm like hooked. I'm hooked. I transferred addictions. It used to be drugs and alcohol, and now it's learning and growing and being curious, and not in an unhealthy way. If I'm gonna have any get down, it's books and shit, right? You know? But look, I'm a big fan of being in the present moment. So what you're going to get from me is me in the present moment, talking about what's important. The next video, what's important. And I don't know how that's going to look or evolve, but if you are an OG and you're still here for this video, I love you. You're the MVP of this channel. And if you're new, I love you. Buckle up. I don't know. I think that's all there is to say about that. Thank you for getting this far and, being on the ride for all these like technical glitches. Fun fact. I have all these things near my desk because I have ADHD and I don't want to make any claims about me being somewhere on the spectrum, but there are signs. Anyway, yeah, thank you for being along for the ride and just like accepting me for who I am and like moving through these different seasons of my career and life and even changing careers. It does mean a lot. I might get emotional. For real. Thank you guys. You're the best.